Things that are day 6. Quiz show. Robert, I'm so glad to see you. You don't have to whisper, Bobby says. Alicia's parents just went out to buy some ice cream. Here's some food. It's Bobby, Gertie, and me in the basement with William. And what Bobby said is true. My folks are getting some ice cream. After dinner, Daddy said, we want to look as normal as possible, and if this were a normal situation, my wife and I would go bring home some fantastic ice cream for dessert. And they both got in the sob and left. And I wouldn't be surprised if Daddy picked up his lab notes in a portable hard drive on the way to the garage through his study. And those files could already be tucked away for safekeeping somewhere between here and Steve's ice cream shop. That's what I would have done in a situation like this. I hate it that I have to think like this. I also hate that I'm so good at it. We've got about 15 minutes before my mom and dad get back, and we're going at the William problem straight on, and we have a script. Bobby starts it off. So let's hear it, William. Why are you here? William already has a mouthful of General Tso's chicken. I came here because you weren't home. I went to your house first, and there was no one there, and I deducted that you'd be at your girlfriend's, so I came here, with all possible haste. Feels as if I almost lost some toes from the cold. I've got my back against one of the thick square wooden posts that hold up the house, and it's my line next. How did you know where I live, William? I looked it up in the phone book. There are only 3 Van Dorns in all of Chicago, and only one is within walking distance of campus. I checked the locations with Google Maps at an open computer terminal. Bobby says, but I never told you Alicia's last name, William, ever. You didn't have to tell me. Earlier today, I followed the men who were following you when you and Alicia went to that study room on the 3rd floor of the library. And after the men looked at the sign-up sheet at the information desk by the 3rd floor elevators, I looked at it too, and there it was in black and white. Van Dorn, Alicia, first and last names. Signed up for room 307. Why are you quizzing me like this? Bobby's voice is hard, accusing. You've got ears. You heard the FBI agents when they were here, right? You probably listened at a heat vent, heard everything they said. Did you hear Alicia lie about talking to you? And now you're hiding here in the Van Dorn's house. So that means she broke the law, and now we're all harboring a fugitive. In any minute, the FBI is going to show up with a search warrant, and arrest warrants too. Is that how it's going to be? You think I'm working for them? He says. Of all the bloody fool things, why would I do that? I have no reason to help them. They want to put me in jail, plus do God knows what else to me. I am trying to do one thing, and one thing only. I want to get my life back. And I'm sorry I tried to bully you into helping me in New York, but I still believe you can help me. And I've come halfway across America in that hope. I am begging for your help. If you have any idea about how to help me, for the love of God, please tell me. And if you can swear right now that you cannot help me, then I'll gladly leave. I shall walk out into the night this instant. No one will ever know I've spoken to either of you, and the police and the FBI will never find me again. No one will. Gertie doesn't like emotional outbursts. She comes to her feet and leans against my leg. Gertie, sit. Good girl. And facing William, I say, so you didn't lead the FBI here? Think, Alicia, if the scenario you two have imagined were correct, they'd have come blazing into this home an hour ago. The FBI came here because they are doing efficient police work. They're after me, but they're following Robert. I'm certain of it. Well, I'm not, Bobby says. Enjoy the food, and don't make a mess. Be ready to hide if anyone else comes down here. We'll let you know what happens next. Bobby sounds so strong, confident, as if we really know what's happening next. But as we head back up the basement steps, I'm pretty sure that neither one of us has a clue. Chapter 15. Trust. We go up the basement steps to the landing, and I hear Bobby lock the basement door. Family room? I ask. He says sure, and once we're there, Bobby puts on the jazz CD, then sits beside me on the couch. He pushes the volume up and leans toward me, talking in my ear, so he can't hear us talking. The precaution seemed a little silly, but after a visit from the FBI, I guess it's not. Again, close to my ear, what do you think? He turns his head and I say, I believe him. I think we should help him. Really? He says. How come? It takes a moment to compose my thoughts. Well, I say, when he was talking down in the basement, I thought I'd never heard anyone sound so desperate, but that's not true, because I heard you talking the same way 2 years ago, and I felt that way too. I don't think a person can fake that, do you? He's quiet a second, and I wish I could see his face, but I can picture Bobby's eyebrows bunched up like they do when he's thinking, or angry, or both. I've touched those eyebrows, and I know his lips are pressed together in a tight line. I've touched his lips too. Buttercup, oh Buttercup, it's the brain fairy. Can you hear me? I can't see you. There seems to be the soft pink haze, sort of like lots of little bunnies made of cotton candy, and they're in my eyes, and they're clogging up my brain. No, wait, they're clogging up your brain. Listen, just because you don't seem to have a heart doesn't mean I can't have one. So, butt I'm just saying that this is a time for thinking, not feeling. That's all. Listen, I like feeling this way about Bobby, and there's nothing wrong with that. True, but do you have to get moony about every little thing? You're in the middle of a hazardous situation. Clarity, Buttercup. Clarity is crucial. Mind your business, all right? Don't call me Buttercup. You are my business, Buttercup. Bobby's been thinking during my private conversation, and now he leans near again. Just because William is genuinely desperate doesn't mean he's being honest. I still don't trust the guy. I mean, for all we know, he's got a little transmitter hidden in the palm of his hand, and he's relaying everything he hears to the FBI. If we keep helping him, we're just getting deeper and deeper. I'm not sure how to respond, and I'm not sure I'm right. Not completely. And I don't want to have an argument about this. Still, as I listened to William talking earlier, I think I saw something true, just for a second, and even a glimpse of truth can't be ignored. But William doesn't trust the FBI, Bobby, I whispered, or the police. He trusts us. He's putting all his faith in you and me, and I heard that when he talked to us. Bobby doesn't answer, but the tone of the silence tells me he's not convinced. I lean closer, my forehead right above his ear, touching. There's a slight scent of citrus in his hair and a hint of cologne rising from his neck, and I whisper, Bobby, I know you remember how it feels to be that way, to have so little hope that things can never get back to normal, to feel completely dependent on others, to feel caught by forces beyond your control, to feel alone, to feel. My voice wavers and I have to stop because I'm not talking about William anymore. I'm talking about myself. I feel Bobby nod his head and he whispers, I see what you mean, and you're right, especially about that feeling. Feeling like things will never get back to normal. The whispering keeps us close, shoulders angled, almost face to face. He leans closer, his lips about brushing my ear. And really, Alicia, I don't know how to do it how you do it with the blindness every day. It's not a small thing. I love this moment. I love it way too much, and I have to gulp back a wave of emotion. And I say, thanks. That means a lot, Bobby. And before I slip it into even deeper waters, I straighten up, push my back into the leather cushions of the couch, and I say, so do you think what our dads have been doing can help him? What do you mean? And his tone is instantly sharp and analytical. Bobby amazes me how he can flip a switch and be 110% business again, so I have to go right along with him. I say, our dads have been experimenting, right? And if you have the equipment that can make someone invisible, then you can use the same stuff to reverse the process, right? He says, well, we know that they had to generate an electrical force field, put the subject in it, then bombard the field and the subject with the same type of energy stream that gets released by a solar flare. We also know that they figured out the principles, and then they actually did a series of successful lab tests. But they've been working with mice, Alicia. A mouse weighs only about 20 grams, and that means the scale they've been working at is way too small, probably by some factor of 10. So bottom line, I don't think your father's little backyard lab is ready to readjust the molecular light reflecting properties of a full-grown man. It's a quiet moment, and I hear the blower of our old furnace kick on, feel the warm air start to circulate from the floor grate across the room. Bobby gives a short laugh and says, and if your dad knew this guy was in his basement, endangering you this way, plus putting the secret at risk, your dad would want to help him, or would the professor want to take some other course of action? Good question, huh? Let's just say that if Dr. Leo knew, I would not like to be in William's shoes. What do you mean by that? I snap. Are you saying my dad would do something to harm him? Do something bad? He would never do that. To protect you and your mom? Bobby asked. Think again. All I know is those mice didn't last long. Did they? But that was different. It was. And I have to stop thinking about this, because honestly, I don't know what my daddy would do if he knew where William was right now. Bobby sits beside me, and the sound of jazz trumpet fills the room. And he just sits, breathing in and out long, deep breaths. Again, I wish I could see his face. I nudge him and whisper, What? He says, I think I should get William out of here, right now, take him to my house. Once I get him to my car, if we got caught, none of you would be in trouble. Like William said, the FBI is following me. None of this would be happening if I hadn't messed up first. And I can get him out of here before your mom and dad come back. So sweet, he's trying to take this whole problem onto himself to keep me safe. Me and my parents, so sweet. Makes me want to hug him and never let go. Oh, Buttercup. I see the pink bunnies. I reach out for his hand anyway, and I whisper, You can't do that, Bobby. And anyway, I don't think William would go with you. Yeah, he would. If he's as desperate as we both think he is, he'd do anything I tell him to. He believes I can help him. He trusts us, remember? And the sad truth is, I can't help him. Not really. And I'm not sure anyone can, not even our dads. There's no way they can help William, at least not anytime soon. He trails off into another long pause. This time there's a bass solo filling the air. When we came into this room, he didn't flip any light switches, so it's dim in here, dim and bluesy. I squeeze his hand and I say, Bobby, what? If I tell you something, you promise you won't get mad at me, no matter what. He laughs a little and says, logically, that's an impossible promise to make. I stop being logical. I say, I'm serious. Then I promise. And he's serious too. I take a deep breath. I think there's a way we can help William. You mean like you and me? Bobby whispers. How? It takes me a long time, but I finally say, remember Sheila? Yeah, he says. Of course I do. And I know he remembers because Sheila made a huge difference in the way things turned out for Bobby. We found Sheila 2 years ago when Bobby was invisible. She was like William. The invisibility seemed to hit her out of nowhere, and she decided to use it, to embrace it. She used it to run away from her old life. And us finding Sheila, talking to her, comparing experiences, that was a big part of what helped us figure out the problem for Bobby back then. And after his own readjustment worked, Bobby told her about it and offered to help her. Except Sheila didn't want to come back. She couldn't face reality. I think about Sheila a lot. Bobby promised me. What about her? About 2 weeks ago, or 2 weeks after you got back to normal, I got a phone call from her. From Sheila, he says? No way. I keep talking fast. It's easier that way. You'd put my name and phone number in the note. Then one you'd put in the box with things you sent her. So she called me. And she said she didn't want the stuff. Said she was never going to want it, and she never wanted to have a visible body again. Said she liked being free. That's what she called it, being free. She was mostly yelling, so angry. And after a few minutes of that, she made me promise I'd never tell another soul about her. Told me that if I did, she'd hunt me down and make me sorry I had. So of course I promised her, and she slammed the phone down, and that was it. I never told you, Bobby. That's wild, he says. Sheila, she sounded crazy when I talked to her, but this? And it's okay you didn't tell me about it. Still, I think it would have been all right if you had. I nod and whisper, I know, and I'm sorry, Bobby. But there's more, because 3 weeks later, I was here at home by myself, and UPS brought a package addressed to me. I opened it, and right away I could tell what it was. The same box of stuff you sent to Alicia. All of it. And I never told you about this either. I just wanted the whole thing to go away. He's sitting straight up on the couch now. Alicia, you still have it? The box? Shh, I whisper. William might hear you, and let go. He's almost breaking my hand, squeezing it hard, freaking out because the box he sent to Alicia had an electric blanket in it. An old Sears model with a broken heat controller that sends the wrong kind of power into the blanket's coils. And if the solar winds are blowing, shooting energy into Earth's atmosphere, the malfunctioning blanket creates an electrical energy field that's big enough and powerful enough to affect a full-grown person, a man like William, or a teenager like Bobby, or a woman like Sheila, because that's what happened to each of them on different dates in different places, but each one lying asleep under the same kind of blanket. Bobby repeats, you still have the box? He puts his ear close to my face again, and I whisper, I almost trashed everything. Didn't want my dad to find the blanket or any of their notes and sketches. Didn't want him to start messing around with the physics again, which is almost more irony than I can stand. And I came close to destroying all of it. But back then, I thought, what if Sheila changes her mind one day? So I hid the box away up in the attic. Everything. Which is another reason to worry about the FBI coming in here with a search warrant. He's silent, and I don't know what he's thinking. I whisper, so, Bobby, are you angry that I didn't tell you sooner? Like, right after she sent the box to me? Because really, all of that belongs to you. No, I'm not mad. Not at all. You did the right thing. And this is great news. Or it could be. I whisper, so, you think everything would still work to do the reversal? Only one way to find out. I'm finding it hard to whisper. Then let's grab the box, get William, and go. We can go to your house right now, like before my parents get back, because I don't want them to know where he was ever here. That way, if things go wrong, they're innocent. If we can bring William back to normal, that's huge. It's like making all the evidence disappear, or reappear, right? So let's go, Bobby. He hesitates, then says, how about this? I take the blanket and I leave with William right now. And you stay here, Alicia, because I really don't want you to be on the hook for William. Like I said, this all started with me getting the police involved. So let me be the one to get him away from here for you, okay? So sweet and unselfish. And I want to hug him and say, Bobby, don't you get it? If it's your problem, it's my problem too. Except that I'd get another visit from the brain fairy telling me that my feelings are getting too warm and fuzzy. But that is how I feel. I want us to do this together, like at the very beginning. So I shake my head and I say, no, I'm in on this too. I'm in this too, all the way. So let's get moving. And he says, okay, but if your dad kills me, it's going to be your fault. I was ready for more of a fight, which means that Bobby really wants my help. He doesn't want to do this all on his own, which should not be a surprise, not to me, because no one wants to be alone, including William, and even Sheila, because alone is not the same as free. I'm on my feet. Gertie, come. And we're in motion, because my parents are on their way back home by now, with ice cream. Too bad about that. We'll be gone, out in the winter twilight, William, Bobby, Gertie, and me. and a pink bunny or two. Chapter 16, Plan in Motion. Doesn't this beastly car have a heater? William's in the back seat, and I feel sorry for him. Nakedness and frozen leather upholstery has to be a bad combination. Bobby says, take 10 minutes to warm up, and we'll be at my house in 5. So just tough it out, and keep your head down. Perhaps you'll recall that I'm invisible, William says. Yeah, but your breath isn't. Water vapor plus cold air equals visible clouds. Physics. It's all about the physics. I ask, are we being followed? I'm here beside Bobby with my teeth chattering as the old Volvo lurches from stoplight to stoplight, and I've got a box of potentially incriminating information sitting between my feet. And there's an invisible man who's wanted by the FBI making wisecracks from the back seat. So I'm feeling a little exposed. Bobby says, I don't know. I'm not even looking at my mirrors. If someone's watching us, I want to look like I don't have a care in the world. I'm just taking my girlfriend out for a drive over to my house, and my parents are away. Which makes me the chaperone, says William. How charming. Bobby used the G word. He said, my girlfriend. And I wonder if the way he's using that word is changing. Gertie shifts her weight. She's sitting between Bobby and me on the front seat. She's getting more used to William. Hasn't growled at him once since we got in the car. But I can feel her head swing back to look for him every 5 or 10 seconds, and she's sniffing at him like crazy. I don't know what Bobby told William about why we were taking him to the Phillips house. After Bobby got the box from the place, I'd hidden it in the attic. He carried it out to the car. I had my coat by then, and we met at the basement door. Then he ducked down the steps. 30 seconds later, the 3 of us hurried through Daddy's study on our way to the garage. 4 of us, counting Gertie, and William seemed eager to be leaving. Eager about everything, except the cold. Dash, dash, vibrations. It's my phone. Dash, dash. I have a love-hate relationship with my cell phone. At the moment, it's hate, because those vibrations are Morse code for the letter M, which stands for Mom. Which means she got home 10 seconds ago, figured out I'm gone, and now she expects a full report. Hi, Mom. Where are you? I thought we were all going to have ice cream together. Yeah, but we decided we wanted hot cocoa instead, and Bobby remembered he has to stop in at home to get a phone call from his parents around 7 o'clock. So first we're going to the Starbucks on 57th Street. Then after Bobby talks to his folks, we might go and see a movie. Oh well. Do you think that's wise? I mean, don't you think Bobby's really tired? Because he's had such a long day flying home from New York and everything. Weird question. And then I get it. Mom's afraid someone could be listening in, which is a valid fear, I guess. And certainly it suits me, because now I can be vague, which means I don't have to lie as much. Bobby says he feels fine, and we won't stay out real late or anything. But, and I know she's just dying to say, what about that man who talked to you at the library? What if he comes after you? She continues, but you know I don't like you out after dark, Alicia. Mom, I live in the dark, remember? I'm okay, really. And I've got Gertie here. Nobody messes with a German Shepherd. Well, all right, but I want you home by 10:30, not a minute later. And I say, Mom, no, 11, okay? Because this is how we do our curfew dance. And Mom says, all right, 11, sharp, which is when she really wanted me home in the first place. But she always asked for an earlier time, and I always resist. Push, pull, deal. Okay, Mom, thanks. Talk to you later. Goodbye, dear. There's a moment of polite silence in the car after I hang up. Then Bobby says, so let me guess, you don't have to be home until 11, right? That's what she said, but I can probably push it back again. The negotiation is never really over. William says, I hope you don't take this the wrong way, Alicia, that I'm making light of your situation, or that I'm being too personal, but I must say that was a terribly effective retort. About always living in the dark, I can't imagine a parent trying to reply to that line. I nod. It's one of my best, along with, try keeping your eyes shut for 4 years. Then we'll talk. Brutal, he says. Doesn't exactly make a person long for the joys of parenthood. I hesitate. Then, I know this question is definitely too personal, but are you married? Was, he says. Was married, with a daughter. She's almost 11 now. No, make that 12. So, you don't see her anymore? I asked. It's been 4 years, which is one of the things I plan to change, if we can. As the heavy car slopes around the corner, Bobby cuts into the conversation. You know, William, if you'd talked like you were a human being instead of a monster when we first met in New York, things might have been a whole lot simpler than they are at the moment. Then he says, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. A sober voice from the back seat. No, I've had that coming. But honestly, Robert, do you think your father is going to be able to help me when he returns home from Europe on Sunday? That's my first clue about what Bobby said to make William so eager to hop into the back seat of a frozen car. Bobby says, I hope he can. Until then, we just have to keep you off of everyone's radar, or sonar, or infrared scanner. And here we are.